Hello everyone, we are Marie and Ara from AraTax, and we are here today to talk about housing rent tax credit for foreigners in Korea. So this is Ara, and she is a certified Korean tax accountant, and she helps foreigners doing their tax returns and foreign companies expanding their businesses in Korea through accounting and tax advisory. And I am Marie, and I would like to know whether I can report my housing rent as an expense for tax deduction. So I've heard that housing costs were not acceptable as tax deductibles because foreigners are not the head of the household.
Unlike Korean nationals, foreigners were not allowed to apply for housing cost deductions until last year. However, starting this year, foreigners can now apply for housing rent tax credit for salary income tax settlement or 연말정산. So today we will talk about monthly housing rent fee tax credit or 월세세 공제 for salary workers. Starting in 2021, a foreigner with a salary income less than 70 million a year can apply for a tax credit of 10% to 12% of the total rent payment for housing in Korea.
So who can apply for tax credit on a monthly housing rent?
There are conditions to apply for this tax credit. Before we get into details, please note that this monthly housing rent tax credit is only allowed to salary workers. So, if you have a mix of salary income and freelancing income, you can still apply for this, but if you only have freelancing income, then you're not applicable. Let me summarize the conditions. First, a foreign resident with a valid ARC number and the current address on the ARC is the same as the address on the lease contract. Second, there's an income limit. A foreigner with a yearly gross salary equal to or less than 70 million of Korean won. This is the income from the employment contract only. Rule number 3, the head of household or 세대주 in Korean or a family member with the same address doesn't apply for this residential tax deductions or housing rent tax credit for the same period. The fourth condition is that a house with its standard market price or 기준시가 less than 300 million of Korean won value or its exclusive residential area 주거 전용 면적 less than 85 square meters in size. Last condition is a foreigner who doesn't own a residential house in Korea.
I see, so this is only for salary income. Then how much would you actually benefit from having this housing rent tax credit?
Let me give you an example. Let's assume you pay 500,000 per month or 6 million a year for your house. If your gross salary income, which is before any deduction of social insurance and income tax, is less than 70 million, then the maximum tax credit is 600,000, which is 10% of your total rent payment from the housing rent. If your gross salary income, which is before deduction of social insurance and income tax, is less than 55 million a year, then the maximum tax credit is 720,000, which is 12% of your total rent payment from the housing rent. Also, there is a yearly limit on the total housing rent payment, which is 7.5 million per year for tax credit application. So, if you pay housing rent fee for more than 7.5 million a year, it is only up to 7.5 that the tax credit is calculated.
The maximum credit rate is 12% and the rent cost, there's a limit to 7.5 million. Then the maximum credit you can get is 900,000 won?
You're right. The maximum tax credit from this monthly housing rent fee is 900,000 won. Please remember that this is a tax credit, not a tax refund. A tax credit only works as a deduction from your tax payable. So you cannot get more than what you owe to the tax office.
Then how would I apply for this housing tax credit?
You will apply for this tax credit during the annual salary income tax settlement or 연말정산 through your company. When your company performs the salary income tax settlement in February 2022, please provide the following application documents to your company. First document is ARC card with current address or confirmation of residence. The second document is, of course, the house rent contract. And the last one is a copy of bank transfer to show the payment of housing rent fee. And you have to show that recipient's name is the same as the landlord's name. They're the case that the accountants of your company may ask additional documents depending on the company.
Right, so that was pretty interesting. So today we talked about applying for a tax credit on your housing rent fee. We hope you guys found this video useful, and let us know in the comment section below if you have any questions. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on that notification bell, because we hope to see you again, as we'll be back with more videos about running a business, taxes and accounting for foreigners working in Korea. See you again next time. Bye!